Hello, Jim Farr, lead pastor at Emmanuel United Methodist Church in Noblesville, coming to you with this week's Thoughts from the Far Side. As I mentioned last week, due to the amount of work and connection I've had in the last few weeks with young adults who don't attend any churches, I've decided to focus on this question, why do we need God? Or maybe you could even do the reverse of that, and I know it scares some people, but do we need God? And so that's what we're going to talk about during Lent. We're going to start with some real basics today as we move forward in talking about this. And I'm going to give you the basic three approaches to God. There are people that are theists, and they believe in God, and they usually worship God. They're usually connected to a church, maybe Protestant, maybe Roman Catholic, could be other faith expressions also, but they are theists and they believe in God, and they have their reasons. In fact, they would think this question was silly. The second group is what we call atheist. And if you know much about language, whenever you put an A in front of anything, it negates the word that follows. So an atheist is one that doesn't believe in God. And they would also mock me for probably asking this question today and say the answer is so obvious, why do you even ask the question? The third group, and there's a lot of people in this group, and they claim to be agnostics. And once again, we have that A letter in front of the word Gnostic, and Gnostic means knowledge. And so A means without knowledge. And so these folks that claim to be agnostic says there's just really no way to know whether there's a God or not. And they too would probably be a little skeptical about that question that I asked to begin with today. But what I want to offer today is this, that there are a lot of people, a lot of young people in particular. They're not theists, they're not atheists, they're not agnostics. They don't even have a connection to the concept of God or the church. And they're out there, and that's what this series is about. And maybe if we could get them to watch, this is who this series is for. It's not for those that have the answer and could give me the simple answer from their particular perspective about why we need God, or the ones that would tell me, we don't need God at all. So it's for those folks that are out there in the world and they're living their lives very productively often. And they're good people. They do good things, and they enjoy life, and they enjoy love, and they enjoy living. But for whatever reason, and I believe this often has to fall on the church, they have seen no connection to God at all. When you ask them the question, they kind of shrug their shoulders because they're not even sure why they would need God, because life seems to be going well for them. So that's the beginning point of this series we'll be doing. We'll be jumping into some much deeper stuff in the next few weeks, but I wanted to start just by kind of sketching out the four basic groups of people as I see them that we're looking at. And again, I'm just going to repeat that one time. I don't like to repeat those things, but they are, of course, theists, atheists, agnostics, and then this whole other, and maybe it's becoming the largest group, and that is the group that just has no connection, sees no connection necessary, and feels that if they do have a connection, it's a personal one, and that's all they need. So in the next weeks, we'll be digging into who God is, and in this Lenten season, what God might offer for us, and it's going to be fun and challenging. And so if you're so sure about your position, then you can skip these 6 weeks of Lent, and that'll be fine. But if you're like many people, this might be a good time for you to join us as we talk about this issue in Thoughts from the Far Side.